the world's second largest private aviation firm, recently announced that they were one of the few private aviation firms to actually remain profitable during the recession. Thomas Flohr, founder of the company, joins us now to run through some of its operational strategy. Thanks so much, Thomas, for joining us this afternoon. Well, quite a feat for a player in an industry that has been pretty hard hit by the global economic downturn. So clearly you're operating with a business model here that works. Without giving away too many secrets, what actually cushioned you throughout this economic downfall?
Well, good afternoon. We were focusing on growth regions. We're focusing on the Middle East, we're focusing on Africa, we're focusing on Russia, and we're operating brand new Bombardier aircraft. We're trying to give the very best service in the cabin at a very competitive price. And I think most importantly, our business model is a simple business model. We're simply offering programs. We're not asking people to buy aircraft. We're not asking people to buy fractions of aircraft. They're simply buying 100 or 200 hours per year, and we have an obligation to transport. The client has an obligation to pay, and that doesn't tie up any assets. And that was a very comfortable thing for our client base to do, because they were for sure not switching back to commercial, because they need to reach their destinations in the most efficient way, and that's what I think VistaJet offers.
Well, with that, you've been on the expansion trail as well, and expanding services, particularly into Africa. I mean, where it may seem a bit hidden for now, I mean, what are the opportunities for investing in Africa's aviation industry in particular?
Well, you see quite a poor infrastructure. There is no leadership in the private aviation sector in Africa, and we have we were able to build a very loyal customer base in a very short period of time, and they enjoy the excellent service which we are offering. I think they recognize the VistaJet brand as a leader in certainly on this continent, and actually as a matter of fact, I have a South African, Mr. Rob Hersov, who is the chairman of my advisory board. So the African interest within VistaJet is very big.
Which regions have you identified in particular here?
The west coast of Africa is certainly a big growth region. Down here in South Africa, we have a lot of long-haul flights between Europe and South Africa. Certainly the World Cup has put us on the map. We have every day a number of flights flying into either Joburg or Cape Town, Durban, etc., from all over the world, whether that's from Russia, whether it's from the Middle East, whether that's actually from the west coast of Africa. So we had a significant pickup, and we could actually showcase our product to the world, and the World Cup is certainly a platform which helped us to do so, which is one of the reasons why I was able to come here and lead that effort.
Well, in Lagos, Nigeria specifically, if we use that as a case in point, I mean, attention's being drawn to the fact that we see a huge demand in governmental and energy sectors in particular. I mean, what are the risks heading into the space, though? Because in Nigeria specifically, we've heard that the CBN, ranks the airline industry amongst those that it would need to bail out, and that proving in itself that there are significant pressures that do exert themselves on airlines operating within that territory.
Well, I wouldn't call ourselves an airline. We're a private jet company, and we're flying a lot of international long-haul traffic. We have routes from Nigeria to London. We fly a lot into Paris. We actually fly all the way from Nigeria to Russia. It's really the exploration of the oil and gas industry, which where a lot of customers of VistaJet relies on, and we have a very close working relationship with the authorities in Nigeria, which helps us meet that growth demand. I think it's the lack of the infrastructure on some of the connections from the commercial airlines, which really allow VistaJet to offer such destinations. So to get from one destination within Africa to the other, you sometimes have to fly all the way to Europe to get to such a destination, and that's where the private jet comes in. The other element is really that our client base does not need to invest into an asset. They just simply call up, and within 24 hours we transport them anywhere in the world. and they don't have to invest into a $20–30 million asset, which in more recessionary times is not the thing to do.
Well, this seems obviously on the surface it looks like a very niche operation here. I mean, are there any ancillary revenues and new business models that you would be exploring moving down the line?
Well, we're very much focusing on the core product, which is what I explained earlier, our program. I believe that you've got to do best what you're good at. And obviously we offer a lot of auxiliary services such as transportation and basically an end-to-end service when somebody travels with VistaJet. But we want to focus on that, and we believe we're the best in the industry. And that's the product we want to roll out all over the world. And certainly Africa has been a focus point for VistaJet over the last 6 to 9 months. What
do you see being the future of Africa's aviation industry, and what role do you see VistaJet in particular playing within that space?
Well, I think Africa is another growth region which we see. It very much reminds me of Russia, 2003, 2004, where there was not sufficient infrastructure yet in place, and the infrastructure was in the process of being built out, and that's where you need point-to-point services which you can offer, and that's where we believe with a product such as VistaJet, where you have the highest standards of safety. We have a platinum rating by the authorities. We operate under European AOC, so safety is a very big aspect. And then obviously the quality in the cabin is second to none, only operating brand new aircraft. That's the kind of offering the clients we are talking to demand from VistaJet. And that's very much in contrary to the 10–20-year-old occasional charter airplane which are available in some of the regions in Africa. And I think that kind of top-level service is where the industry is going, because the wealth which is created on the continent, it's the business attitude and the point-to-point service which is required. That's where VistaJet is at its best.
Well, certainly not just players in the aviation industry that are seeing the opportunity that Africa is starting to open up. Thanks, Thomas, for having joined us this afternoon. Of course,